I know it's hard to read that sign that's on my side here, but it says, and it always says, it is always well with my soul. So I greet you soul to soul this morning. Good morning, soul rebels. It is an honor to have you part of our stream this morning. R, the big us, the we, one with the infinite spirit, we. There is no difference. The infinite spirit and this immortal soul of ours, one and the same thing. So let's admit, Lorena, it's been a while since we've seen Lorena on. All right. Is everyone happy? Here we go, Lorena. And Mickey Light, really? Oh, fantastico. Oh, fantastico. And the Clarks, I think, might be on, and Narayanji. All right. We are having a splendid day, folks. Splendid, splendid. All right. So our subject this morning is on the 4 types of God seekers. Last week we were reading, we've kind of jumped way ahead and we looked at how dark it can get before the light dawns upon us. And there can never get so dark as the lights go out for good. All right. That even then, when we have reached our bottommost, was the words that Yogananda. Oh, aloha, Narayan. I wonder if that means you're in the aloha state. There we go. We'll omit the Clarks right there. That no matter when we almost have to descend before we ascend, right? We have to go through all those lessons because it takes not just one, it takes many, 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 many lessons to learn from the teachings of the Maya. and of course, the truth that is behind the Maya that's saying, what do you want? Do you want the Maya? Do you want the playthings or do you want me? Do you want the playthings that lead to suffering or do you want me? The discipline that leads to being a disciple of love, right? Where you just become drunk night and day, with thy joy, O Lord, with thy love, O Lord. So what I didn't finish though last week was the end of verse 15, which puts us just on the final 2 little paragraphs of this verse 15, because we jumped ahead and we looked at even at the bottommost point, we will then begin the ascent. That this God power that's within us and the grace will kick in and we will start to undo the stuff that we did to get us so convinced that this world is real. And as long as we do that, we are always going to be pulled out into it. And the more you think this world is real, says Paramahansa Yogananda, the more will be your suffering. That's why he has said in one place, God is eternal laughter and a joyful heart is his smile. All right? A joyful heart is his smile. Let's let Babanandaji in. So happy day. Happy day. And this is the last 2 short paragraphs, verse 15, page 688, to end this verse. So we can jump into verse 16, which is about the 4 kinds of seekers. Where do we fit in today? Where do we stand today, you know? Just always good to have a little check-in in front of the flawless mirror and just get a glimpse of ourselves as God sees us, as God is as us. God knows who he is. She is. What is, you know? We don't. So we want to maybe really put on our God glasses today and get a perspective, as it said in the Jesus Calling, which I hope to get to soon, about that we need to see things from the perspective of God, how God sees them, not how we see them as immortal, right? So we put on our God glasses. But this is what we learned last week, that the Gita has emphasized again and again, however, that between all beings and their creator is an immortal bond. So worse life or lifetimes, worse suffering, having made the worst choices, that it's always been, there always will be an immortal bond between our soul and creator. And Yogananda says it's indulgently elastic, but breakable never. Indulgently, we can indulge as much as we want here in the playthings, only to come up short again and again, as we all know, that we are so limited in our scope of things. We're so limited in our, when we're just in body consciousness and believing the mind is real, we are so limited and just strapped into just a narrow understanding of what is really real. So we get the punishment because of that. But this bond is indulgently elastic and breakable never. All right? So you can have a little smile, crack the ends of your mouth and have it point up a little bit and have your first little smile, because a joyful heart is his smile, okay? And we can kind of be light-filled today. None can stray so far, as Yogananda goes on to say, as to withstand forever the pulling power of God's saving grace. Nope, no one's going to stray so far as to withstand forever the pulling power of God's saving grace. Wave the white hanky. I surrender, Lord. We surrender to the mother as fast as we can. We run into her arms and we surrender to her love. We surrender to love. We surrender to love. That's going to be, as we see coming up, the highest seeker is the one who only is in this for love. That's it. The highest thing is this one-on-one, intimate, ongoing divine romance. And we'll read about that coming right up. Final paragraph, verse 15. Therefore, forsaking pride and obstinacy for his own sake, for his own sake, for your own sake, for you, my dear, for you. You're a being with infinite possibilities right now, with lights going off and so much joy that you abundant joy, abundant happiness, abundant peace, abundance, being with the divine beloved, being one with all that is, not doing a thing anymore, but just experiencing everything with the divine for eternity. Okay. So for your own sake, the evil person should cooperate with the Lord's redeeming power. Let's cooperate with that pull, that pull that's just tugging. If you keep tugging at that chain, which is holding you to mortal consciousness, Yogananda said, one day an invisible hand will reach down, snap it apart. If we keep tugging at that chain, that's holding us to mortal consciousness. All right, another day of tugging, Lord, huh? Another day of putting on my best attitude, my most devoted heart, and all this against all odds, because maybe it's the last thing I want to do today, right? And give it the best shot I've ever given it today, right? To remain in communion, in union with that one divine, relentless hound of heaven. And we fled him down the days and down the weeks and down the labyrinthian ways of our own mind. And in the midst of tears, we fled from him. But with unperturbed pace, with deliberate speed came on that brute. So we ain't going to be able to escape this pull. So why don't we surrender completely right now into the arms of that current that's taking us up and back in to the home with the home finally, right? And expanding consciousness with spirit. So why don't we cooperate with the redeeming power of the Lord? We should seek good company and should learn to meditate on God. We should seek good company. That's a good segue into this next verse, by the way, which is verse 16, to seek good company, because we are seekers, you know. And what does Lord Krishna say in this same Gita that we are imbibing right here, right now, and completely replenishing right here, right now, completely letting go right here, right now, emitting such unbeknownst to us, such beautiful heart energy to each other and to our world, brothers and sisters, that there is no separation. All there is the oneness. So everyone's got a nice smile on their face, and all they want is the more smiles, more joy, and more oneness. Okay? So we seek that good company, and we learn to meditate. We learn to ruminate. We learn to saturate our consciousness. Even though humans still, even though pulled out into the world still, even though maybe haunted by some demons that still get us in the middle of the night, in the dark of the night, whatever, whenever, right? We still, disregarding all that, we never keep striving to love him and her, to love. We never cease striving to love. All right. So you ready for this verse 16 that I mentioned? Good morning, everybody. Once again, thank you for the light that you are emitting. Thank you for the soul convictions that are bubbling up inside of you, ready to just burst and take over your consciousness. Soul convictions, let's call it soul realizations. Soul bliss, soul love, soul light. I'll vote for that. The afflicted, this is first word, the afflicted, the questers for wisdom, the cravers for power here and in the hereafter. Oh, there's a little footnote right after that word hereafter. He who has strong desire to attain his aim or object, that is, he who or she who craves the power of fulfillment in the present and in the hereafter. All right, so the cravers for power in the here and the hereafter. And the fourth one is, and the wise. So you have the afflicted, those who are questing wisdom, those who are craving for power here and in the hereafter. That's the third seeker. And then the fourth seeker is the wise. These, O Arjuna, are the four kinds of righteous men and women who perceive me. These are the four: the afflicted, those who are hurting so bad that we have nowhere else to turn, maybe the bottom dwellers, right? Yay for the team. The questers for wisdom, high five. No, I got that, before I feed the dogs every morning, I do Hope first, one little section of the kitchen, and then Happy just watches Hope get fed, and then goes over and we feed her. When Trish is around, Trish feeds Hap, I feed Hope. But anyway, I taught them to high paw. I taught them to high paw. So before they get their food, we do a little, we just love each other and look into each other's eyes, and then I say, okay, it's time to celebrate how good you girls are, and up goes the paw, and we do a high paw, and then the other paw up. So Hap didn't know that I used to do that with Hope, and she just keeps watching. So she finally, I had her to learn that too, so she didn't know what to do when I said high paw, but now I go over there. She's so smart, and she knows exactly what it is now that we're doing. And me and Hope, when I feed Hope, then most of the time I'm feeding both of them. So we go over there, and before I can even do anything, and she's looking at my eye, she goes, whoop, on one paw. We high paw it. The other paw comes right up, and she high paws it. She just, it's so cute. So we do high five on all this, right? That we are questers for wisdom, right? as well. We are cravers for the power here and in the hereafter. We want to be in the present moment here. We want to be in all our power in the present moment and the loving presence right here and now and the hereafter. I pause. Right? And the wise. That's the sage. That's the one that's going to be just about the love and the divine romance, just a one-on-one with the divine beloved. They want divine beloved, all it knows is one-on-one with you, each of you. Or you might say, oh, yeah, right. No, that's the core. That's the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. Wants one-on-one, Brooke, Susan, Lisa, and Jim, with you today. Walk with you, talk with you, share with you, and you share with him whatever's on your mind and heart, right? You're sharing with yourself what's in your mind and heart, aren't you? Got a constant conversation, and usually your loved ones. Hopefully, we're getting better at that communication, the ones we live with, right? But what about the divine beloved who's this whole reason for the season, the whole purpose of creation? Went to a lot of trouble, I think God did, for one purpose, that you and he, you and the beloved, have one-on-one, uninterrupted, unceasing love romance, divine romance, forever and forever, starting today, starting right now. I'll feel your love. I'll feel your love. Awakening, awakening. I feel your love. Awaken in my heart. Awaken in my heart. Right? And we just find a way to sing a song today, to walk lightly today, and to, as you'll see in the Jesus calling, to say, oh well, oh well, let it go. Oh well. Let it go. So what, big deal? My counselor used to say to me when I go with problems and wanted them solved right then and there. I just couldn't get out of my head about it because I'm still, got to listen to my head. I got to have what my head's saying to come out. I got to express it, got to vent it and then feel really bad about it later. Right? But he would say, so what, big deal? And you've heard me say this, and Tricia said it, that her counselor, Brother Nandamoy, when she went with all her stuff to him, that was her counselor, Brother Nandamoy, mine was Brother Premamoy, that he would say, just say the hell with it. Just say the hell with it. All right. So maybe I should read the Jesus now. Let's read Jesus now. Let's do that now. There's a good reading. It's today's reading. It says to see things more and more from my perspective. Try to see things more and more from my perspective. Let the light of my presence, hello, lights on right now. No one can turn them off. No one can turn the light off ever. Oh, it can be turned off temporarily for sure, but never will it go out, and never can be extinguished within you. Try to see things more and more from my perspective. Let the light of my presence so fully fill your mind that you view the world through me. God glasses on today. When little things don't go as you had hoped, this may be just this training of little things, kids. When little things don't go as you had hoped, look to me lightheartedly and say, oh, well, so what? Big deal. The hell with it. You have three choices, or make your own up today, your own special word. When you're getting all kind of pinpointed, micro focused on some little thing that didn't go right for you. This simple discipline can protect you from being burdened with an accumulation of petty cares and frustrations. I don't know about your nature and what's going on in you with the stars and your sun signs and what you've created of yourself. We know so little of what's really going on inside of us. But man, and there's a little thing, it's a little, I call them ants. Get in your pants, they'd be very disturbing and automatic negative thought. But now this time of year here, it's the gnats. gigantic negative automatic thoughts than that. They bug me because they go into my eye. And then I really can't see because I'm rubbing my eye and the gnat's in there and it's disturbing for a while, right? Those are the little things that don't go the way we hoped, guys and girls. They can really, really, really rock your boat, shake it up, and get you really off guard and off your center, off your romance, and concerned about some little thing that didn't go your way. Just lighthearted, say, "Oh well, so what? Big deal? The hell with it." This simple discipline can protect you from being burdened with an accumulation of petty cares and frustrations. See, if you practice this diligently, you will make a life-changing discovery. You realize that most of the things that worry you are not important at all. That's a life, he calls it a life discovery. You will discover a life-changing discovery. If you practice diligently, you will make a life-changing discovery. Oh well, you realize that most of the things that you worry are not important. Things that worry you are not important if you shrug them off immediately. Immediately. Oh well, oh well. Just like a gnat, get it out, get it out. Constantly, I try to get it before it goes in my eyes, right? The ants, you just don't want to go sit near an anthill, right? For sure, you don't. So you don't you take care of things immediately and return to your focus on me. You will walk through your days with lighter steps and a joyful heart. Lighter steps. And you'll have a huge, huge account of this kind of discipline. Finally, it says when serious problems come your way, you'll have more reserves for dealing with them. You will not have squandered your energy on petty problems. You may even reach the point where you can agree with the Apostle Paul that all your troubles are light and momentary compared with the eternal glory being achieved by them. Temporary. So can you take yourself really lightly today and whistle? Whistle that soul song with the divine beloved. Can you hold hands today, just like little lovers? And you just go sail away with your spirits intertwined. Let's go sailing away. Or how about let's get on that love boat and sail away? We have infinite possibilities today, children of the light. So let's see about where we fit today as which one, truth or consequences kind of thing. Or the what's my line? I don't know how that one went. Someone was lying and I forget how that one went. Something like, yeah. Will the real please stand up? Or was that the truth or consequences? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Where do we fit today? Where are we at today? Let's see. So, as we know that there are the afflicted, are we feeling like, oh my God, I'm so broken that all I can do is just put my head on Divine Mother's lap, kind of thing? Or am I questing for some more wisdom to maintain some wisdom today where I usually fall short and completely forget the wisdom and act like a complete human, nutcase? Or am I a craver for being here and now so that I can be in the highest place on the other side as well? Or am I just wise enough to say, I'm not questioning for anything except from me to you, I send in a love letter. From me to you, Lord, straight from my heart. From me to you, I'm sending a love letter or a little love text. From me to you, straight from my heart. There's nothing left of me but you. Beloved, there's nothing left of me but you. Only you, my love. Only you, my love. You're my everything. You are me. I'm your everything. I am you. You are me. We are one. I am you. You are me. We are one. I am you. You are me. We are one. No separation ever, never, even in your craziest human, bottommost dwelling, most despicable moments or lifetimes. It's never changed when you got the God classes on. It never changes. It's always the same. God wants one thing from you, your love, and only you can give it. It's the only thing. It's the only thing. The sole gift a human being can present to the infinite giver is love, is love. All else already belongs to the maker of heaven and earth, you know? So here we go. Here the Gita enumerates the 4 kinds of virtuous actors in the earthly dream drama who, to a lesser or greater degree, follow the wishes of the cosmic dreamer to a lesser or greater degree. But at least they're in the ballpark. At least they are seeking. And we're not judging. 4 kinds of virtuous seekers or actors in the earthly dream drama who, to a lesser or greater degree, follow the wishes of the cosmic dreamer. Wow, we are one of those 4. Maybe we have a mix of the 4. Let's see. All performers of good actions. Huh? We're performers of good actions, kids. Every single one of us here. To yet be sitting here right now, Brooke, Susan, what? Jim and Lisa Clark, what? Lorena, what? And then Mickey, come on. Performers of good actions. We're virtuous actors. We're seeking, we're actually going the right direction. Big, I would say, big, and the light is on. And the love is strong. All performers of good actions, whether their motives are selfish or unselfish, are traveling slowly or swiftly on the path of liberation. What did Rumi say? He said, go to the light and crawl if you have to, but go. Go to the light, go towards the light, crawl if you have to, but go. All right? Either way, who's judging? They're one of the virtuous. Selfish or unselfish. They are unlike the persons who by evil actions walk the torturous path of bondage. That's one thing we don't want to do is give up. That's all that is. That's all that is, that evil path. Is you give up, you don't want to make the effort. You know, you've already thrown in the towel. It's too strong. The habits are too strong. They're pulling you outward, right? You don't realize that the joy of life is that effort against all odds to deal with all that karma that we brought in, and all that indifference that we brought in, and all that forgetfulness that we brought in. That the joy of this life is to be one-on-one with that divine aid, with that divine help, with that divine lover, and let's get over it. You just gotta get over it. Get over it. Relax, let go. Baby, God is you. Okay? Most people in distress seek God. Though with the selfish desire of banishing physical or mental ills, they pray to God for money or the healing of sickness for themselves or dear ones. Sometimes people will reach out to people who have been in their lives and but never got close to you because you were too spiritual. And then in a time of distress, They call and they say, "Can you pray for da 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 da?" So you did all the work to get to that place where you could pray with it, with heart and soul or whatever, or you're at least praying or you're trying, right? And so they want you to do the work now to pray for something that they want from God. That's fine. It's certainly better than not having even the thought of God, right? They pray to God for money or the healing of sickness for themselves or dear ones, or for some personal advantage, such as avoiding a business failure or winning a lawsuit. I remember one time, my dad had sports tickets to all the Dodger games and the Laker games, and they were then the LA Kings hockey games. So we were always, not always, but for much of my childhood, we'd go see a ball game live. And I remember Dodgers were big rivals at one point with Cincinnati Reds, and it was a playoff game before the World Series, I think, to get into the World Series. They had to beat them, and they were down by a few runs. And this guy named Ron Say, he played third baseman, was up, played late innings, and they were down by 2 runs, let's say, and he was the third guy at the plate. So if he hit a home run or something, they'd be leading by one. So I just closed my eyes. That's when I was really, every day meditating, just getting started, just on fire, never missing this, never missing that, and saying, I'm going to go to the game. I'm going to be thinking of you, Lord, the whole time. I was so caught up in the game. And I said, okay, Lord, I just really, really, really have to have a home run here. He's got to hit a home run. And I'm praying like this, and I didn't even watch as they're pitching to him. And all of a sudden, there was this, just you could hear the sound of the bat hitting the ball. And I know, and everyone just starting to go, ah, and it's gone, a home run. And I kind of froze there. I said, "Oh Lord, thank you so much, but maybe I used that up for a bobble, for a home run. I used up a real sincere prayer for a home run, but I think God's probably saying, no, you come on, just pray for anything, as long as you're with me, I don't care. It all works. Love works, Union with God really, really works." But I did remember saying, man, I just squandered one of my prayer requests to God. What if I really need him? And he goes, hey, you used it on the home run, man. All right. Finding temporary relief by the grace of God and by good karma or by the power of prayer. They then easily forget him. So remember, these are just 4 types of seekers. We all probably, every 4 of them, we've been, but wait, we've been then the rocks, then the flowers and the animals. And so come on, we've been there, done that, right? So we easily forget him. But other persons undergoing even slight suffering in this life. Now here's another category of people. It's not still the 4. We're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 coming right up. But Yogananda is just starting to comment on this passage about those 4 types of seekers. But other persons undergoing even slight suffering, I think this is where I fit in this life, especially in the beginning, maybe, and still now. I'm a very sensitive kid, The yoga from one of my counselors, when he looked at me, and he the first time we talked, and he said, "Oh, Divine Mother just told me that I'm going to need to put on kid gloves when dealing with you." That's all right. And he treated me just perfect, as God treats you and your teachers treat you, perfect. Would you get over thinking that something's wrong, that you're wrong, that you're still messed up and blah, 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 and they don't have the patience for you anymore, stuff like that, right? Unconditional caring for you and love for you. So other persons undergoing even slight suffering in this life receive superconscious intimations or memories of all the sufferings of past lives. You guys have any memory, any memories, not fond ones, but nightmarish ones? or even fun ones, because they can be attractive too. They might be egging you on to go back and revisit and see if you can get that particular fun thing, whatever it was, you know. But these are more the superconscious intimations or memories of all the sufferings of past lives. So they're very deep. There's that inner haunting. Now we understand what it is. It's those who have who have gave up and have stopped making the effort, and the darkness haunts you. Knowing themselves capable of violent moods and foolish actions, or you remember just from the few years you had in this life, if you're young and you're introspecting, of impatience, anger, just being stubborn, not being want to be told what to do. Bob told me a story last night. His little grandson was like that. And one little kid, 4.5, came up because he just didn't want to play the soccer game. He's about 4.5, Benny. And a little kid came up and said, "I'm Charlie. I'm 4.5. Can I be your friend? Do you want to be my friend? Do you want to play soccer with me?" It kind of just disarmed Benny a little bit. I think he went out and gave it a whirl. Play. Sweet story I heard from Bob last night. But knowing yourself, you know what your weak links are. I don't care how old you are or what's happening in this life. That's what we're talking about, those weak links. Knowing themselves capable of violent moods, it's a weak link. And of foolish actions, weak link, or whatever else it may be, and fearing the consequent pain and misfortune that's staying in that mode and that vibration and those actions and the thoughts and the worries and the fears that come from all that, because your consciousness drops. And yeah, you are worried about all this outer stuff. And it's it's squandering all your energy as well, because we're going to need to have a huge account of good energy to deal with stuff that comes late as life goes on, right? So fearing the consequent pain and misfortune, such men and women make up their minds to find God as the permanent. And here's where I didn't know where this came from, but of course it come from my guru: relief from the grief. They make up their minds to find God as the permanent relief from all grief. I love that saying. I say it a lot: relief from all grief, right? These devotees, heeding the spiritual injunctions of a God realized guru, embark on the path of yoga, divine union, through which they can learn to commune with God. Okay, so now he gets into talk about the 4 stages in more of a defined way, so you can see what stage of seeking you might be interested in today. Men of inconstant wisdom, again and again. This is the first one. Inconstant wisdom, we could say. We could say number 1 is the afflicted, I think. Men of inconstant wisdom again and again seek divine aid during affliction. We seek divine aid during affliction. So God says, let there be affliction for you, because at least you're seeking me. At least you're on the right path. At least we're in the ballpark. At least you're getting closer to me. I'm going to do whatever I do and have things happen in your life so you get closer to me. Bottom line, right? And it's all for the ultimate bliss, the ultimate good, the ultimate transformation, right? Little baby steps at a time. Every little detail is the one thing. God's saying, this is going to help you get closer to me. So in this case, virtuous actor number 1, who's behind this curtain, or is the virtuous actor number 1. People, men and women of constant wisdom, seeking divine aid during affliction. Then after that is God does help, intervenes and helps out, then revert to their interest in material solaces. Okay? Yet even though their prayers are for selfish benefit, such men and women are performers of spasmodic good actions that remind them of God. They are on the right path. Time for a happy dance? We are on the right path. We are on the right path. We're going home. Light speed, punch it, chewy, right? The second virtuous actor or seeker after the truth, the second class of people are those who unconditionally seek wisdom. So it's not spasmodic, it's not inconstant. These are the constant folks. These are the ones that decide, all right, I know what I have to do. Lord, help me to do that which must be done. Was prayer and apostolage night after night as I cried myself to sleep. Lord, help me to do that which must be done. The second class of people are those who unconditionally seek wisdom in order to realize their divinity and to solve the mystery of life. That's really what one of the top reasons that I went into the ashram for. Top one is love, right? It's the love romance. They use their innate endowment of free choice to good purpose and are therefore better men and women than the previously mentioned selfish seekers of God. But it's not that kind of, oh, we're better than the selfish people, because you're all going on the right direction. You all have compassion and understanding for where everyone's at, right? You just love them. But you are in a closer, let's say you're closer to God, having done your choosing and you're using your free will for good purposes. It is natural that the Lord, and then Yogananda sums this up, responds more eagerly to unconditional suppliants, those who are, sublimating themselves into the presence, right? Closer to God, sublimating, letting go of this wrong action so that you could have your meditation or say, I'm sorry to this person, right? Or to forgive yourself and forgive others and blah, blah, blah. It is natural that the Lord responds more eagerly to those unconditional suppliants for his love than to favor seekers. Wait, you got to go for the edge here. You got to go for every little Benny that you can add up. You need every little trick up your sleeve. You need to have aces and jokers wild and have them all up your sleeves. Aces and jokers. So why not? Why not be the one that is making better and better choices, and catching that ant or that gnat right away, right? So that you can return back to your center rather than getting caught up in a big friggin' deal, making a mountain out of a molehill, right? Blowing out of proportion a little something that didn't go right for you. Wow, so easy to do. It is natural that the Lord responds more eagerly to unconditional suppliance for his love than to favor seekers. All right, third class of people are those who seek complete fulfillment, which must necessarily include the giver along with his gifts. Complete fulfillment, yeah. You're going for the whole kit and caboodle. You're going for all the Cracker Jacks and the surprise, right? You're going for it all. You're going to down that Cracker Jacks box. Wow. So it makes sense that you're going to include the giver. We're going to include the giver in this third acting role, as a waking up soul, right? That we're going to really seek the giver along with his gifts. Such seekers look for God's help, his ever-loving presence. Help, H-E-L-P, her ever-loving presence. They seek that loving presence, that loving light that we read about in Jesus Calling this morning. That light of the presence that is ever shining on us, right? Saying, stay with me, stay in the light. Let's just stay on the light side of things, light-hearted. Let's just look at the bright side of life. Let's just look at the bright side of life. All right. That was one of the, what's that guy's name? The funny guy that did the Christ movie. Python movie, I think. All right. Such seekers look for God's help in attaining wealth, friends, health, power. They also practice yoga to attain bliss and all fulfilling spiritual power in this life and in the beyond after death. In a balanced way, they are trying to find a good life as well as divine realization. This is that third seeker, right? Beautiful, beautiful. We have moments like this, don't we? Where we are asking God for help in everything in the present moment with a really beautiful attitude, right choices, a heart that you can actually feel some flames or at least some embers that you really sincerely, if you put everything to stack up in an automated way to stack up the potency of each one of your thoughts and desires that are in that thought, what it is that you're really seeking, that we go up there for a very high level of just wanting this to get close to God, but not quite the highest yet, right? But very, 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 very high. You make you're making good deposits in this third state of trying to find a good life as well as divine realization. Good life and divine realization. Beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? A good life as well as divine realization. A perfect balance. A perfect balance of that. The fourth class, I guess this is the highest one, of men and women are the sages, defined in the next verse as the greatest of all. Sage Lisa, Sage Jim, Sage Brooke Susan, Sage Babananda, Sage Mickey, Sage Jen Fitting. You're not on, you'll hear this. Bow to the sage in you. Maybe that's it. Lorena, I bow to the sage in you. Brooke, I bow to the sage in you. Bobby, I bow to the sage in you. Jimmy and Lisa, I bow to the sage in you. Mickey, I bow to the sage in you. Can you bow to the sage within yourself? Our goal as sages is not the acquisition of knowledge, nor do we seek the Lord for any ulterior purpose. We're not seeking for knowledge. We're not seeking the Lord for any ulterior purpose. We, oh so rebels, have already attained steady wisdom, constant wisdom, and divine communion. That hungering after the being with the loving presence, being in the light of that joy of the loving presence, being in the light of lightheartedness, right? Being in the light of just that I don't have a thing to worry about today, right? Even on my worst hair day, I don't have a thing to worry about today. Oh well, so what? Big deal. The hell with it. If it makes me sad, if it makes me start to get hot and bothered, it gets me impatient, if it gets me frustrated with how things are on the surface out here. You know that in I think the day before Jesus calling, when it talks about we're in a fallen world, blah blah blah. Remember that one? That was just I think a day before today or 2 days before, and it says that that it's a fallen world, and it can have most of the beings here completely unraveling on the edges. The world, the things happen unraveling by the edges, people unraveling by the edges. And so he said that in order for you not to unravel on the edges is to say super, super close to me. There we go again. Super, super. From me to you, I'm sending all love letters. From me to you, straight from my heart. There's nothing left to me, Lord, but you. My beloved, there's nothing left of me but you. The sage. Our goal is not the acquisition of knowledge as sages right now, our true nature as soul sages, as awakened beings. Our goal is not the acquisition of knowledge, nor do we seek the Lord for any ulterior purpose. We have already attained steady wisdom and divine communion. I love you. I love you. I love you. This is that, that where that I'm easily reached by the yogi who is single-hearted. Did I sing that yet today? I am, this is Krishna's words, easily reached by the yogi who is single-hearted. By the yogi who is single-hearted. Who remembers, who remembers, who remembers me daily and continuously, who remembers, who remembers, who remember me daily and continuously, whose mind, whose mind, whose mind's intensely focused on me, whose mind's intensely focused on me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Easily reached by the yogi and yogini who is single-hearted, who remembers me daily and continuously, whose mind's intensely focused on me through and I'm going to add, through a heart of unceasing, unconditional love and loving. Ooh, such souls that have that steady wisdom and divine communion, liberated from the temptations and attachments of delusion, liberated. When you don't pray for even things like, Lord, I need your grace to anything other than the love affair, they're going to get you close. Oh, come on, it's going to get you close. Don't worry about how it works out. Maybe I should just say, hey, that's a good way to pray. It's all good. It's all good as long as it puts you in the ballpark, right? Of seeking without judging, seeking. Because you seek God first and everything else comes to you. You love first and everything else will be given to you. That's what I was saying. So the temptations and attachments of delusion, you don't have to pray that they be removed. I mean, you can be, here I go, put myself in that trap again. Yes, you can pray that you can have those things removed. But remember, we are perpetually united to God within our hearts. That's why any other prayer, love is an experience. It's not words. It's not a prayer. Prayer is talking to God. Meditation is experiencing God, right? Perpetually united with God in their hearts, in our hearts, in our heart, in our heart. We laugh and we play in our hearts, in our hearts. We love and we pray because that's where we love to stay. Beloved, in our hearts, we long to stay. In our hearts, we long to stay. Beloved, right? Perpetually united to God within our hearts. I think I have a little something here. We're not going to go even attempt the next verse. we're going to end this one here because we just have a few moments left. But I just may have something here from Ramana. I think Ramana needs to say something. I know Ramana wants to say something. Okay. Here you go, buddy. Wait a minute. I read you the one last week, but this is okay. He who turns you towards the self and reveals to you the knowledge of self is the guru. In truth, he is self and he is God. Cling to him. Cling to him. That part of your high self that the ego is less potent, it's just dissolving into its true soul self, is turning us within to reveal the knowledge of this self. It is the same as the guru. It is the divine guru within, the teacher within. In truth, he is self and he is God. Cling to him. Cling to him. That's the way out of this ill world, fleeting and false. So we need to have God within our hearts. I am still, wait a minute. I'm going to try something here because I just want to give you this quote. Okay. Haha. All right. This is one. Thank you for your patience. Oh, mind. Oh, mind, says Ramana. It is not wise for you to come out in the form of thoughts. It is best to go within. You know, so what big deal? Oh, well, you're saying, oh, mind, it's not wise for you to come out and even get involved here. No, no big deal. The hell with it. Oh, well, oh, mind, it's not wise for you to come out. Oh, well, in the form of thoughts. It is best to go within. Hide yourself deep within the heart. Hide yourself deep within the heart and escape from the tricks of Maya, who tries to upset you by drawing you outwards. Oh, upsets, worries, fears, awakening PTSD of all the traumas still unresolved within us, and dramas and unfinished business and stuff like that, right? We can escape the tricks of Maya, who tries to upset us every time we forget. Every time we're not in a love affair, every time we're not with the beloved, we get upset. It's that simple. At some level, we get upset. All right, so that was the quote I wanted you to hear. Well, remember, this fourth virtuous actor on the stage of life, this sage-like person, you and me, we perpetually united to God within our hearts. And we unconditionally love him. Unconditionally love him. We live for him. We act for him. Commune with him just to respond to his love. This is the reason. His love. His love is all there is. So we can perpetually, as Yogananda puts it, we cloister our mind with our heart. We cloister it there. We put it to rest there. We put it back to the shop. Supernatural help, healing, and supernatural help of peace. Shop, SHOP. We rest in peace. We with our minds, we rest in peace. We cloister our mind and our heart. We put it back in the divine shop, supernatural help of peace, deep peace, God peace. Perpetually united with God in our hearts, unconditionally loving Him. We live for Him. These are our last words for the morning. We act for Him. We commune with Him just to respond to His love and to revere Him willingly, as a son and daughter naturally loves his and her father. Big breath, everyone. Breathe in these good fumes, these God fumes, this God love fumes this morning. Your sincerest, beautiful energies pouring out of that love space of yours, the heart center. You feel it so powerful. It raised the vibration of our stream this morning. It helped every one of us to live up to who we really are, to look up constantly to who we really are, and to fall in love once we go up and in at that spiritual eye and see that face, that divine face instead of our face. Right? So thank you for that. It's been an absolute real treat. And next week, we're going to look at the verse that talks all about the sage. So we're just going to call it the sage. In the meantime, be sage like, piece of cake. It's who you really, really are. And if you just stop thinking of this world as real, if you do, you're punished because of the Maya, the trickster, right? But if you just say, oh, well, it's not real. Only my love affair, the deepest places of my heart, one-on-one with the divine beloved is real. That's where I live. That's where I act. That's where I commune, only to respond to love and revere Him willingly as a son, as a daughter loves his father. Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. God bless to you. God peace to you. Everything wonderful keeps coming into you. Let it come. Receive it wholeheartedly and stay there in that completed, all fulfilled, sage-like, complete fulfillment heart. Love you. Namaste.